FM News Talk 97.1. On demand audio. Allman in the morning. Common Sense Radio.
You know, it's interesting. We have now that Zimmerman is out of jail, bailed out. That leaves a space for John Edwards. So, facing 30 years in prison. Man, you can imagine he's going to serve some time if this, I don't know, he might not be convicted, but a little messy for John Edwards, yes.
Hey, Republicans, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Al. Appreciate it very much. Cars about to be required by Congress to have black boxes. Well, you know, already some cars already have black boxes, essentially. You know, these guys, I think GM still has the recorder, the data recorder is already in there. So that when you sue GM, you know, because your brakes didn't work. Like, oh, really? Your brakes didn't work, huh? Well, really? Yes, they did, because we have it right here on your data recorder. So they use it all the time, GM does. It's really kind of a defensive measure. By the way, GM must be thanking you. They said on Monday that the company would expand its dealership network in China.
Watch out for the Chinese.
By about 600 dealerships in China. Hi, John. Thanks for calling the show. What's up?
Good morning, Jamie. This class envy thing that current administration keeps playing up is a total violation of the 10th commandment as Moses brought down, because it clearly states that you're not supposed to be coveting your neighbor's wife, his house, his servant,
That's right.
donkey, and everything that he owns.
That's right.
And he's not supposed to do it. So when he wants all the Americans to fall into this, he's just asking millions of Americans to the 10 Commandments.
And, John, you know what? Maybe that's something, you know, because, Martin Bashir on MSNBC went after Mitt Romney in claiming that he is violating the Mormon tenet, right, by lying, he says. So I wonder if Martin Bashir will accuse Obama of violating the Bible. You think he'll do that? You think he'll go on MSNBC and rip President Obama for violating one of the 10 Commandments? I don't think so. Yeah. These guys, I'm telling you what, they get away with this crazy thing. I want to get to Mitch Daniels, who talked about Mitt Romney, which I think is important, and also to Krauthammer, who talked about Rubio. But I've got about 5 or 6 examples, one after the other, of where these guys on the left just can blather anything they want to and are not held to any account whatsoever. This is what I would consider the lightning round, yes, but it's also called bull crap-a-rama. How does that sound? Ladies and gentlemen, bull crap-a-rama, brought to you by the Allman in the Morning Show. Let us begin with the first installment of bull crap-a-rama, coming to you from Keith Olbermann, who, for whatever reason, is on ABC's This Week. These guys will put anybody on that show. I think Van Jones was on there at one point, too. Anyway, we'll get to him, by the way. He's part of bull crap-a-rama here. So anyway, here's Olbermann making the case that somehow gas prices being high represents a conspiracy to hurt President Obama, right?
There has to be some connection between that being the least busy political moment of a president's career, where you're not going to hurt him, you're not going to harm him that way, and the price of gas. There has to be an almost deliberate, or at least a side effect quality to that. There must be.
The guy is a boob. Everybody in the world knows it.
There must be.
This is crap.
I mean, and nobody on the show said to him, Keith, you are full of garbage here. Nobody confronted the guy at all on that statement. And is that what we're getting now? Is the factual basis to make some kind of statement like that is, well, there has to be. Well, there must be. As we talked about earlier with a guy who called in the show about this earlier, it's like we're used to hearing this from our idiot coworkers or that misguided family member, you know, at the reunion or whatever it is. when they're, well, there must be, it has to be, well, it must be. Of course conservatives are racist because blah, 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 anti-women, war on women, blah, blah. You hear this stuff all the time, but rarely do you hear it at that level where you actually have somebody with a name saying it. Normally, we're just rolling our eyes, but it's like the guy, the drunk at the corner bar. But it's been elevated to ABC's This Week. Then there's Van Jones. This was some kind of whopper here from Van.
EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, probably has saved more American lives than the Department of Defense.
I love how he adds that added credibility by saying probably. That really seals it for me. So now let me ask you this though. First of all, the Department of Defense, obviously it's defense, but normally it operates our military, and the military's job is not necessarily always to save lives, really. But in the end, though, how do you disprove that statement, really? Because we don't know whether or not our military expeditions, how many lives they in fact have saved, how many American lives they've saved. How many American lives did we save by going into Afghanistan? Yeah, we had casualties on the part of our military in Afghanistan, but how many American lives were saved here? Well, you can't quantify that. It's kind of like the whole thing where they talk about jobs created or saved. There's no way you can say how many jobs were saved. You really can't. You just make it up. And so that's Van Jones on Earth Day, by the way. That was part of the Earth Day celebration. Our bull crap-orama continues, this time with David Axelrod, who vomits this one out.
I think a lot of Republicans in Congress want to cooperate, know better, but they're in the thralls of this reign of terror from the far right.
Reign of terror from the far right. And did you realize that he's on this show? Nobody asks him, what do you mean, reign of terror? How do you call this a reign of terror? Give me an example of how the right wing has terrorized people. Actually, tell me what the right wing is, first of all, what that means. Secondly, how the reign of terror has... What is that? But he's allowed to just say it. Kind of like the war on women thing. They're allowed to spew this stuff out, and nobody calls him to account on the matter. Of course, you have Axelrod, Van Jones, Allman, all talking and spewing this stuff out of their mouths that doesn't make any sense and is not actually defensible in any way, shape, or form. It's no wonder, because their fearless leader on the left, Barack Obama, has spent the past week spewing out bullcrap. And so our bullcrap-orama continues with first of all, a reference to last week's crap spew. Here you go.
In this country, prosperity does not trickle down. Prosperity grows from the bottom up.
Yeah. Never. Okay? Never. Totally misguided statement there for the President of the United States. Then he followed with this whopper. Here you go.
Tax cuts would have to be paid for by cutting things like education and job training programs that give students new opportunities to work and succeed. We cannot just cut our way to prosperity.
Yeah, we can. We've done it. Bush did it. Reagan did it. You can cut your way to prosperity. All right, finally, Crowdhammer on Rubio. This is not part of the bullcrap-orama. This is just something that you all need to hear from Charles Crowdhammer on Rubio and his continued denial that he wants to be a VP candidate.
If he says he doesn't want the office, he'll find a horse's head in his bed.
So he's saying Rubio has no choice if he's asked to become the VP or the running mate for whoever the nominee is. Speaking of the nominee, Mitch Daniels talks about Mitt Romney, and I think he's really talking about Ron Paul, but I'll tell you why straight ahead.